Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm Susan Lynn. I'm a psychic and a medium. Let me adjust my microphone here. Thanks for joining me today. I really appreciate it. Today is Saturday morning and it is really 5:30 in the morning and it says my sleep focus is on. I'm not sleeping. So let me tell you why I'm not sleeping. Well, I'm not sleeping because the spirit guides. Right. The spirit guides wanted me to do this video because I need to talk to you guys about some politics that is happening, and they have some messages for us. Again, so I do these videos to help people. Everything I share with you, every time I get in front of my computer screen and do a video, it's in the hopes of helping people understand what's happening, or not to freak out about what's happening, or to give you some guidance about what may be happening in the future. So today, I want to talk to you about standing together is what the guides want me to talk about, but I'm going to talk about something I want to talk about too, because, anyway. They want to talk about standing together. So, yes, of course, they just told me how this all winds and fits together. Of course it does. Why is it important that we stand together, and who is standing together in this time of absolute division, coercion, misinformation, and attacks on our sanity as well as our democracy? Who should we be standing with? Who should be standing together? So here we go. Well, first of all, if you ask the guides, the spirit guides, that they say humanity, humanity should be standing together. We need more compassion. And they're showing me, just because I think this is very relevant to all of us, they're showing me just driving and letting somebody come into your lane. The old days when we would roll the window down and wave, like, thanks, appreciate that, right? We need a lot more compassion, and they're telling me we need compassion for those that are not compassionate to us. So that whole thing of I guess Jesus turned the other cheek kind of thing. I'm not religious, wasn't raised in a religion, do not know anything about any of that, just telling you what they're telling me. So they're asking us, they're telling me something about the word asking. So it's not like asking. They're not asking. Okay, my bad. They're not asking. It's, with the guides, it's usually a suggestion. This is a really good point, right? Your guides don't tell you what to do because you have free will. Now, if this is a little digression here, but if you're so far off of your soul path, of your soul contract, then yeah, they're going to create energetic situations in your life that will cause you to sort of be pushed back on your soul path. But when we're talking about this kind of thing, which is very amorphous, which is very general, no, they're not going to tell us what to do. That's not their role. That's not their purview. They don't control us. We have free will here. So they're suggesting that we have compassion for those that don't have compassion for us. Right. So like for me, that can trigger me. Like when people are rude, it kind of triggers me a little bit. It's like when they slam the door in your face, when you're walking behind somebody and they just slam the door in my face, but even more importantly, like an older person's face, or a woman that's struggling, or a dad that's struggling with a toddler, or something. It's just that genteel, which is a very Southern term, but just that compassion, right? Let's have compassion for each other. Okay, so that's I've delivered their message. And I want to also talk about this. I want to talk about politics because You guys, when I do these videos, for whatever reason, just the way I work, we're all of us are different. All of us psychics are different. All of us humans are different. So we bring the energy into our body differently. So some of us are clairvoyant. We see, we hear, we're clairaudient, whatever. But also just our energy runs at a different rate, right? So for me, it feels like my spirit guides give me information that's a month to 2 months out, a month to 2 months away. Okay, so I'm just telling you this because you can actually go back and look at the videos that are 2 months old, and you can see it probably unfolding or not unfolding as it may be right now. So this information I'm about to tell you today is going to become very prominent in a month or 2 months. Now, it's still pertinent for you, I think, because forewarned is forearmed. And if we can take this information into our psyche, into our consciousness, I think that it can subtly start to prepare us for the future, okay? So this is what I want to tell you. I'm going to try to be succinct here. I really am. Right. So based on my last video that I told you guys, that shock and awe, right? We talked about shock and awe and smash and grab. My last video was named that. And we talked about how, and I say we, I'm talking about spirit. And when I say I'm talking about spirit, because right now I'm channeling. So when I say please don't understand, this is not Susan. This is what they're coming through me. So it's kind of all mixed up right now. So we talked about that because this summer, what is the summer of 69? What happened in 1969? Anyway, you guys will look it up. I'll look it up after this video. This summer is going to be one of shock and awe. Now, I want to prepare you. That's why I'm doing this video. I want to prepare you to be mad. I want to prepare you to be angry. I want to prepare you to want to blame the Democrats. I want to prepare you to want to blame Obama or, Hillary or Biden or any of those people. Mueller. We've all been ragging on Mueller and the Mueller report. Well, I now understand some things. Now, I'm going to be honest with you and tell you, I don't understand it all, because from what I take in from my sources through news or whatever it is, and what the guides tell me, there's still big pieces missing, but I can tell you overall, the energy suggests that we are going, and this is exactly what they said in the last video, but I'm sort of trying to take it a step further. We're going to learn things that are going to piss us the F off. Okay? It's really going to make us mad, because we're going to learn that Trump was an illegitimate president. We're going to learn that our election was hacked. We're going to learn that your local elections, a lot of them are hacked. And yes, I am saying this. Can't believe it, but I am saying this publicly on YouTube. Look, folks, the information is out there. Not all of it. There's, like I said, there's big holes missing in this information, but there's enough of it out there that it's the truth. And my guides, my spirit guides, are saying it's the truth plus more. Everything you've learned, you can just add a whole bunch more to that you can't know because it's being redacted or blocked. Okay, now, there's so much I need to tell you, because I don't want you to go back. It's not going to help any of us in 2022 or 24 or 26 to go back and blame President Obama or blame anybody or Hillary or anybody. It's not going to help us, okay? We really need to focus on the now. We really need to be clear-eyed and critical. Use critical thinking about what's going on right now and fight like hell for right now. Okay? So we're going to find out that, Obama had his suspicions, and I think we all know this. We recall Obama leaning in and talking to Putin. I recall several pictures of Obama towering quite a bit taller than Putin, leaning over Putin and talking to him. I know that Obama had information that suggested that he was hacking the election. I know that Obama called Hillary and told her to concede, even though some experts said that there seems to be some suggestions that this election was hacked. I'm not blaming Obama. I was a precinct chair for Obama. Not blaming him. He didn't have all the information. He did not have all the information. Neither did Hillary. If Hillary, she was her own woman. Her and Obama weren't, I don't know that they were super close. She could have fought this. We didn't have all the information. Now, some of that is because the Republicans blocked it. Some of that is because people, died. People that were that knew this information. Harry Reid is one of those people. Another guy that owned, I think, one of the voting systems or had something to do, died in a private plane accident. Okay, so we don't have all the information. Whatever comes out in the press, and it will, because what they're going to try to do is kneecap the Democrats. So they're going to flood the airwaves. They're going to flood all of the media with this information that's going to make the Democrats look like they had this information and they didn't do anything with it. So just bear with me for a minute. When these accusations come out, when these indictments come out against Trump and against a lot of people that you would know their names, the next thing you're going to see is the Democrats knew all of this. Why didn't they do anything? Mark my words, you're going to see that all over the place. You're going to see people like, the Washington Post, the New York Times, CNN. You're going to see big media outlets sandbag, kneecap the Democrats and throw them under the bridge. Obama knew about this here. Well, Obama knew this much. He knew enough to suspect. Mueller knew enough to suspect. They didn't have the evidence. But if you take the evidence now and then you go back and apply it to these people's actions then, it looks like they knew and they didn't do anything. I'm here to tell you they didn't know. Maybe they knew, but they didn't have the hardcore evidence. So why I'm telling you this is because this summer, when you see the Democrats being sandbagged, being attacked by people saying they knew all along, you know what's going on. It's an attempt to muddy everything up. It's an attempt to disorganize the Democrats, because guess what, folks? We have a really important election coming up. And if we don't all stand together, despite whatever our differences are, I'm sure we all agree on one thing, and that is that we would like to keep our democracy. So for the sake of keeping our democracy, let's all vote together for the people that have won the primaries, for the Ds. Let's get them in office, and then let's hold them accountable. Let's hold everyone accountable, the R's and the D's. So please don't be a victim of this propaganda that is going to hit about the same time that we start dropping indictments on people. So it's really important, okay? And I'm starting to see this. It's starting now in very sort of what they're showing me is periphery. So it's on the outside. It's not bullseye. The bullseye is New York Times, Washington Post, CNN, maybe even Maddow, Rachel Maddow. I mean, she is not locked into anybody. I mean, she'll take pot shots at whoever she thinks needs it. I've seen her attack all the Democrats. So, but they're being fed misinformation, and it's not excuse me, I misspoke. They're not being fed misinformation. They're being fed information in such a way that it looks like one thing, but it's really not. Okay? So if you're watching this video, what I would like for you to do is to try to not take a side this summer. Let's not say Obama was wrong, Hillary was wrong, whoever was wrong, Biden is wrong, Mueller was wrong, Garland was wrong. Of course we're mad. Of course we want justice. It's not going to help us, folks. If we devolve into infighting, then you might as well put an R next to your name. I'm just being, I don't even, 1-800 Spirit Guides, press 1 for complaints. That's all I have to say about that. The next thing I want to say is that how this is being done. So I think I've done a good job of explaining why we're here. Now, I know that some of this has been kind of general, but I'm going to link an article into the description that is very long, but it is for you people out there that like to dig your teeth into information and want to understand this article will help you understand it all in a way that you never have. And I think that she connects the dots in a way that nobody has. And again, in the last video, remember they said all these books that are out, that all this information is out there in books, but yet the American public is going to hear it as if for the first time. Because we all know people don't read books anymore. They listen to 5-minute or less, talking heads. And so for them, this is the first time they've ever heard this. And they're going to be mad. This is exactly what they said in the last video. So now let me explain to you why everything is going to be okay and why Biden is the man who's supposed to be in charge of the United States right now. And literally, I can't believe I just said that. But that's the guides, and I'm plus mine. I mean, I'm supporting Biden 100% because I'm on Team D, and I'm on Team Big D and Little D for the democracy and the Democrats. So Biden is the man. Now, here's what happened. Here's what's happening right now. Okay, let me just tell you what's happening right now. Biden learned when he took over the presidency, a lot of that, all that redacted stuff that became real reports during the Trump regime that Obama didn't have access to. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is during the Trump regime, a lot of smart FBI, CIA, NSA people started creating reports, started logging this information. Now Biden is in office and he has access to that raw information that nobody else has. Okay? Now Biden knows the score more than most anybody. And Biden is not an appeaser, they just told me. He looks like an appeaser, right? To me, this is why I'm doing this video. To me, he looks like an appeaser. To me, of course, I probably would do things differently, but we might also be in World War III right now, right? So, that's why Biden is the right person. He's a statesman. He's a guy who believes in the institution of democracy, the institution of our checks and balances, of our judicial system, our executive system, of our Senate and House. He believes that this system of checks and balances, the way the framers of our country, the framers of the Constitution created it, works. He wants to preserve it. And what he knows is, here's the big deal. What he knows is that he can't go head to head with these people. He can't. We don't have control of the House and the Senate, nor the judiciary on any level, to be able to go head to head with these people. He cannot go head to head with Putin. It would be World War III, and there is information that has been leaked that Obama did contact Putin and tell him, I have a feeling you're meddling in our elections, and if I find that out, I want you to understand that's an act of war. So Obama did lay it out for Putin. Okay, but he didn't have the data because we didn't realize at that point the hacking that was going on. So now Biden knows all that. So there's two things that are going on. First of all, Biden is right. So they showed me an elephant, and I started to tell you. So Biden is basically, they have this old adage sometimes in business, entrepreneurs, they take all these classes to help you be a better business person, whatever, and better yourself. And they say, how do you eat an elephant? One little bite at a time, meaning you don't attack an elephant because you can't win. Well, how apropos that we're using an elephant here. So that's what made me stop and laugh, because I put it all together after they told me. So yeah, Biden is taking this elephant off at the feet. At the feet. He's not going to go after Trump per se. He has not gone after Trump, has he? What has he done? He's gone after the Proud Boys. He's gone after these bad actors, because that's at the bottom. That's at the bottom. But destabilizing the bottom is going to destabilize that elephant. It's going to take the feet out from under the elephant. And all of those things are connected. The foot of the elephant is connected to the head of the elephant. So he's going to get to the head of the elephant, but he's starting where he can. To me, this is brilliant. This is brilliant strategy. Brilliant strategy. Because we cannot go head to head with the elephant. This is what happened. When people started, and read the article, but the guy, I can't remember his name, there was a Democrat who two Democrats put forward the SAFE Act, the Safe Voting Act. It never went anywhere because the Republicans just blocked it. These Democrats knew enough to know that something was wrong. They may not have known all the wrong things, but they knew enough to know that something really bad is happening with our voting. And they put forth the SAFE Act. And the Republicans didn't even bring it up for a vote, for even debate. They didn't even debate it. They didn't even bring it up into, on the floor. Well, there you go. That's head to head. Not going to work. Just not going to work. No traction. So we have to go underneath. We have to go down below and work our way up. And that is what Biden is doing. And that's what Nancy Pelosi's doing. And that's what all of the main Democrats are doing. Now, there's pros and cons to everything, right? I mean, the con is that this is taking a lot longer than we might not have this much time, right? This is actually a bit of a crisis. It's sort of like putting out a fire on the 5th floor by starting at the basement and working your way up. But this is what we have to do. We don't have any other options, okay? Now, it is going to work because there's really a direct line between that basement and the 5th floor. It's like we just take the elevator straight up. So there is a real direct line. It's going to actually move very quickly up to the top. So we're going to go very quickly from the Proud Boys to Trump. And we have to, because the guides have said that despite the fact that this summer might be raucous and explosive and those words that maybe we don't want to experience, it would be much better to do this in a more compacted amount of time than it would be to let this go on for 2 years. If we let this investigation go on for 2 years, we're not going to make it. We're not going to make it. The Republicans will overcome us. We have to be, it's like a fast strike force. We have to be fast. We have to be deadly. We have to be targeted. So that is why it's all sort of barreling down to this summer. And again, you're going to experience shock and awe. You're going to experience, right now we have the formula shortage and the baby formula shortage, and everybody's blaming it on Biden as if he has some control over a company that makes baby formula. But, again, the narrative is not ours. We don't get in front of the narrative. This is just where we are. If we were on top of the narrative, we could hit the Republicans head on, but we're not. So we have to go under and work our way up this way. Biden is doing what he can do the way he can do it. Mueller did not have the evidence. They just said he didn't have the smoking gun. He had all of the different parts to suggest that there was a smoking gun, but he didn't have the smoking gun. Garland, I'm going to ask. It's back to, right, listen, guys, I'm honestly trying to manage your expectations, because as a person who gets really PO'd when her expectations are not met, I feel like, this is an important thing. If we expect something, this is how we got to this point. We expected Mueller to do more. We expected Garland to do more. We expected our system of checks and balances to hold people accountable. So far, we failed. Okay? And if we keep failing, we're going to lose our steam, and we're just going to sit out the biggest election of this country, potentially this next election. So when I checked into Garland and I asked if he had the smoking gun, that's when they showed me. If you've watched a lot of these videos, you'll know that the guides had said there's 100 archers. There's 100 people with bows and arrows. Why, I don't know. 100. They released their arrows. 95 miss, or 94 miss. 5 hit their target. 3 take the target out. The target is 45. So you just need to expect that 94 arrows are going to miss. That's managing our expectations. That's helpful. It really is helpful. So when I go into Garland, I feel like a mixed bag of results. I mean, I'm just telling you guys, I'm trying to manage your expectations. There's going to be hits. There's going to be big hits. And you're going to say, well, if this person is guilty, then surely this person is guilty. But this person doesn't get the hit. And it's going to make you mad. But we can only do what we have evidence. We are really a country of evidence. We don't just go off putting people in prison without evidence. That separates us. That makes us different than Russia. Something to be celebrated. And if Garland doesn't have the evidence, he doesn't have the evidence. And he may not have the evidence because somebody got pushed out a window. Somebody ate some plutonium. Somebody, some data disappeared. And it has disappeared. God, I just saw that data disappearing. Anyway, so data does disappear. It does. People delete things. What was it? One of the Proud Boys took his phone and threw it in the Atlantic Ocean. Right? So if Garland doesn't have the evidence, he doesn't have the evidence. You cannot blame him for that. Okay? So Garland is going to do some things that we're going to like. He's going to do some things we're not going to like. Or let me rephrase that. He's not going to do some things. And we're not going to like that. But Trump is going down. I feel like those 3 arrows that take out Trump, I feel like one of those is definitely Georgia. From the very beginning, now I haven't heard anything about her recently, but just from the very beginning, there's been a lot of energy around E. Jean Carroll. E. Jean Carroll is the woman that Trump allegedly, because nobody wants to be sued here, allegedly, I'm trying to decide which word to use, molested in a dressing room in the store in the bottom of his hotel. And she kept her dress with his DNA on it. Now this is, 20, 30 years ago. She still got the dress. So that, come on, come on, for real. He can't escape that. Eventually, he's going to meet a judge that's going to make him produce DNA. Did he produce DNA? Anyway, that energy is very strong. There could be 3 women that take him out. I mean, Hilary just popped into my mind. So it might not be Garland that takes out Trump. It might be somebody else, like the state of Georgia, E. Jean Carroll, maybe even Hilary. So managing your expectations is that some of these people are going to walk scot-free, some are going to go to jail, and some are going to disappear, probably. So we're not going to get everything we want, but the most important thing that we're going to get, and the most important thing that we want, is to, I don't know why they're using the word sanctify. Sanctify our elections? Sanctify our democracy? I'm not sure. I'm not sure how sanctify fits in a sentence in this. But anyway, who am I? I'm Susan. Who knows? Okay, anyway, so we're going to get enough stuff done that it will save our democracy. And the next thing I want to tell you is that the other thing that Biden is doing is he's going after Russia via Ukraine. Now, if you read this article, and I'm telling, it literally says it takes 38 minutes to read, and it took me an hour because I had to reread some things 4 times. Like, for real? For real? So you read that article, you'll understand that all this started in Ukraine. Manafort, all this stuff, Trump, all this stuff started in Ukraine, of all places. way back when, 2008, 2014. I mean, it's just been ongoing. And so, and they're telling me that's where Hillary comes in against Putin, right? Hillary has always known that Putin was a bad actor and that he was doing things on the world stage that he shouldn't be allowed to do. He had access to, the G, what is he? Is he a G8 member, a G20 member? Russia is in certain groups that they shouldn't be in. I mean, they just shouldn't be in them. They don't deserve it. They're not on the up and up, So Biden is going after Russia through Ukraine because had we not been hacked, Ukraine wouldn't even be in the position it's in right now. But here we all are. And so I believe that Biden has thrown so much weight towards Ukraine because he understands that Ukraine is first step, Poland is the second step, Finland is the third. You know what I mean? And when I first did a video about Ukraine, they kept talking about Baltics, the Baltic states. I mean, look, Putin is not going to stop. He's a bully. This is another video I did in the very beginning, calling Putin a bully. He's got that bully mentality, the same mentality that Trump does, bullying people, intimidating people, riding roughshod over people. It's the same thing. So Biden is chopping away at the elephant from the feet first, and at the same time attacking Putin through Ukraine. So I really think his strategy is the best strategy that we have right now. We don't have the upper hand. To be completely honest with you, it's not that Democrats don't have the upper hand. Democracy does not have the upper hand in the United States right now. Actually, they just said in the world. Democracy does not have the upper hand in the world right now. And this is going to be messy. I mean, right now you have Germany and France suggesting that Zelensky give up the Donetsk region of Ukraine, which is exactly what the Spirit Guide said. The Spirit Guide said from the very beginning, that the West, meaning not Russia, would encourage Zelensky as a way to move past the war, to get peace, to just give up that area. Remember, I've said this over and over again. The Spirit Guides have said this over and over again. It's the southeast portion of Ukraine. And a part of that, Crimea, Putin already took Crimea from Ukraine. The first time since World War II, or one, that any European nation has taken a bite of another nation and just been accepted. And here now France and Germany are saying Zelensky should consider this. But Biden, I'm here to tell you, the gloves have come off, you guys. The gloves have come off. Right. So also those things that Biden have said, like Murdoch is a threat to the world. He said that I'm going to get it exact. The flavor of the meaning is correct, but the exact quote is not correct. But he said that Putin was a slaughterer or something like that. An American president has never said these things. Never. But Biden is out there speaking truth. Because he knows what's at stake. And I'm telling you, he's going to fight until the end. He's going to fight to the end. And the Senate just blocked some aid for Ukraine, this last batch of aid for Ukraine. But we're going to win. So I've been wondering all along why Ukraine is tied to the United States. Now, I don't mean, let me explain what I mean. I mean energetically. Energetically, all along I've been thinking, why is what's happening in Ukraine also happening here? Meaning the dissolution, the dissolving. Ukraine, God bless those people, God bless them. They've been dissolved. I mean, they've been pulverized. They're going to have to rise up from the ashes like the phoenix, which is also what the guides have said. All of the Ukrainian videos that I've done, this is all, they haven't wavered from this message. So in many ways, United States has to do the exact same thing. We're not going to be pulverized. We're not going to, our buildings aren't going to be, bombed. But the same damage is happening on the inside of our institutions. We're being gutted on the inside of our institutions. Dissolved. Right now in Texas, my congressperson said that we should not be giving baby formula to babies that are being held in detention that are from across the border. So they're illegal aliens and they're being held in detention, and these babies need baby formula. And my congressman said we should not be giving them baby formula. We should be giving that to Americans. So he basically suggested that we should let brown babies die to save Americans. And that's okay. Where are we? This is where we are. Cold water splashed on our faces. That's what's happening. That's what's happening. Cold water. We've been asleep. All the way since Sandy Hook, we've been asleep. We've let atrocities happen on our watch. NPR just reported that we could have saved half of those people that died from the C-19 had they been vaccinated. Atrocities. Okay, so we're going to wake up. We're going to wake up and we're going to be mad. Mad that we allowed these atrocities to happen. And we're going to be looking for someone to blame. We're going to be looking for a politician to blame. All of us, Democrats and liberals, are going to be like, somebody needs to be held accountable, right? And we're going to start looking for that person. And at that same time, here comes Russia with their disinformation, sandbagging Democrats. Yeah, Obama knew all along. Hillary knew all along. Nancy Pelosi knew all along. No, they didn't. They did not know. We will have to mourn, grieve, and finally come to some sort of acceptance that it happened on our watch. It happened on our watch. And we just have to forgive ourselves. And we have to forgive everybody. Because carrying that poison in our heart isn't going to solve anything. Blaming people isn't going to solve anything. It's not going to make anything better. It's not going to change anything. It's not going to change what happened. So take that time. Come to terms with it. Manage your expectations. Grieve, rail, rage. Whatever you got to do. Work through those stages of grief. Don't get stuck. Work through all of them. Because in the end analysis, we need you to stand up, not get caught up in the blame game, but to stand up and to stand together and vote. Stand up, stand together, and vote. This is the only way out of the situation we're in. Maybe it's not the best solution, but it's pretty much our only solution. We've got to help where we can. We need to understand that these Democrats have been kneecapped. And if we don't help them, they can't do anything. It's the same thing with these doctors and nurses. If we don't help them, how can they do their job? If we put them in the position where they have to let people die because they can't get a prescription drug that would save a woman's life because it seems to be tied to the A word, how can they do their job? We have to help them by voting, by changing this, by walking, protesting peacefully, by getting involved, writing those postcards, calling your congressman, donating that $5. All of that's going to help. And most importantly, they're saying, please don't get caught up in the blame game. It's just not going to help us. Pointing fingers at Bernie Sanders or Hillary or Biden or Mueller or Garland or Obama, that's not going to help anything. You might as well be joining, Manafort's crew. So let's just stand where we are, keep walking forward, arm in arm, link our arms together, support each other, be compassionate, take really good care of yourself. Really, really good care. Most of us are running on empty. We've been on empty throughout the whole the pandemic, the Trump years. We can't get to the finish line if we're on empty. We cannot get to the finish line if we're on empty. So we need to pause. June, do what you can to have a good June. I know prices are up. I know gas prices are up. I know food prices are up. I know. Some of this is, not the Democrats' fault. A lot of it is not the Democrats' fault. Some of it is the Republicans' fault. But do what you can. Don't just say, I can't have a good summer because the gas prices are too high and I can't travel to meet someone. Well, what can you do? What can you do? Can you just sit in your backyard and grill some hot dogs or grill some, vegetables on the grill? Let's not throw everything out. Let's step back and be an observer. Step back and be an observer. What little thing can I do to make myself happy? Start small, just like Biden with that damn elephant. One little bite at a time. Start small in your own life. What's one little thing I can do to make myself happy? One little thing. And those little things start adding up. And then you have joy and peace and a little bit of laughter. And that's filling your tank up, folks. Because we need all of us, every last one of us, to stand together, be ready this August. So take some time off this summer. Don't pay attention to all of the shenanigans. Again, you're going to see a lot of finger pointing and blaming and kneecapping. None of that is going to change anything if you don't pay attention to it. Don't pay any attention to it. You know what you're going to do. You don't need to follow the daily news. Believe me, when Trump gets indicted, you'll know, because I'm going to shoot off my confetti cannon and we're all going to celebrate. Okay? Take really good care. Much love to you. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. Please let me know in the comments what you think. Always remember, this is for entertainment purposes only. And this is the views of my spirit guides, 1-800-SPIRIT GUIDES +1 for complaints. Take good care, you guys. For entertainment purposes only.